know about you, but when I go to an art fair and I'm trying to sell my art, I want the environment there, the vibes to be amazing. I absolutely hate having people next to me that are just horrible vendor booth neighbors, right? I don't know if you've ever had one like this, but man, I mean, some of these people are just awful to be around. And so in this video, I want to go over art vendor booth etiquette tips so that way we can all have a better art fair. First thing is, don't play excessively loud music out of your booth, especially if there is a stage right next to you or nearby you at the event, because a lot of art fairs have music stages at them, so you don't need to provide extra music on top of it. It becomes a real racket to have to listen to. I mean, think about there's a band on the stage and then your neighbor is blaring some loud music that doesn't go with it at all. And people have different tastes than you when it comes to music. I don't like to have music playing that's going to annoy my customers. Some people really hate country and Western music. That's me right there. You know, and also some people really hate EDM music. I love EDM, but I wouldn't play either of those in my art booth because there are some people who have really strong emotions and preferences, either for or against those types of music, among many others. And we all want to make sales at these events, so if you have a neighbor who's blaring some music that's annoying your customers and you can't talk over it, your customers can't hear you. I'm very soft-spoken, so I have a hard time talking over loud music. And so for me, neighbors who are playing music, I always go over and ask them to turn it off. Sometimes they just turn it louder when I ask them to turn it off. The ultimate thing here is treat others how you want to be treated. If you had to listen to some really loud music that you absolutely hate for 8 hours a day, 3 days in a row, and it was ruining your sales, wouldn't that piss you off? It probably would, so don't do that to other people. This next one happens particularly often, and this is having friends and family or children come with you to the art fair, having them spill over from your booth into your neighbor's booth, or making a really loud racket, creating a traffic flow problem down the entire aisle of the art fair. It's just not cool. We need to be able to sell stuff. We need to have traffic flow. We need to not have anything that's distracting customers. And so if you have people with you who are helping you, that's a good thing. You want some help. But make sure if there are a lot of family members with you, especially if they're kids or pets, make sure they're behind your booth so that they're not bothering the other vendors near you. Next is smoking. Seriously, it's gross. If you're chain smoking behind your booth or in your booth, around your booth, it's probably going to annoy your neighbors and any customers who are non-smokers. And most of us these days are non-smokers. So keep that in mind. If you are going to smoke, make sure that you go downwind from everyone, well away from the art fair, and keep your booth weighted down. Bring ample amount of weight to stick on all the legs of your art fair tent. Because the thing is that if it's really windy, your tent's gonna go flying, and all of us around you don't want to have your tent going and flying into our booth and ruining the expensive art booth setups that we have. And think about the customers. You don't want a pop-up tent flying off and hitting a customer or a family or their kids and hurting them. That could be just horrible from a legal liability standpoint for you, and also just for the event, the whole vibe of the place. Somebody getting injured by somebody's art booth tent is not cool. Next are selling items that could damage another artist's work. And what I mean by this are mainly items that are demonstrated by showing bubbles. So bubble guns, bubble wands, things like that. Bubbles, when they go in the air, they can travel a long distance, and then they can pop on another artist's work and cause it to get wet, soapy. It can cause discolorations in paint, stickiness on print racks and print bins and on the prints themselves. It's just disgusting. And sometimes artists go to these events and they make these beautiful bubble wands and they think that they should be able to demonstrate them for their customers. But then all of us around them are like, but you're ruining our work. So please just don't even come to an event thinking that you are going to demonstrate an item that is going to harm someone else's work, because it will harm original paintings when they get soap on them. I mean, it's pretty much logic 101, right? You would not put soap on any type of painting you owned, would you? So don't create a situation with bubbles that is putting soap on someone else's hard-earned work that they're trying to sell. Last but not least is it's important to keep everything that you have in your booth inside the booth. I see people do this a lot of times where they put print racks out in front of their art booth, thinking that it is inviting people in to look at the print rack, and then they'll come the rest of the way in your booth. Or maybe they will sit out there in front of their booth along one of the sides. But if you are sitting in front of your booth, that's blocking traffic from your neighbor as the people are walking through. And so it's not cool to do that. It's better just to keep everything inside your booth. That way there is a steady line of traffic flow in front of every booth, and nobody is blocking anybody else's traffic flow, and everybody gets their fair shot at people seeing their booth, because we're all paying a lot of money for these art booths at these events. And don't just think about yourself, think about everyone else too. And so this way there is a good amount of traffic flow, a good vibe, a good environment, so that way everybody can make sales, because that's what we all want. I know personally, I love it when I see artists next to me succeeding and then I'm also succeeding, because there is a place for everyone at an art fair to succeed. We all have different target markets, even at the same event. You know, I might be selling to families with kids, whereas my neighbor might be selling to older couples who are wanting large paintings for a big room, things like that. And so we're not in direct competition. It's better to just make it a good vibe and an even playing field for everyone. If you found this video helpful, you might find this one helpful as well with more art fair tips. All right, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.